All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Lukmaan IAS. This is DTRS session, Daily Takkar Rapid Series. And yesterday we could not hold the session, and that's why we are covering the yesterday's session together with today's session. So we will discuss 20 MCQs today based on the current affairs of last 2 days. And the lead topic for today is under which conditions the ECI can declare polls void. Now let me tell you that अभी ये पिछले मंथ के सारे जो है MCQs जो है आपको एक 200 MCQ का compilation, it will be made available as a magazine, monthly magazine of April on Lukmaan IAS website, and you can subscribe for that and you can download it and you can have the hard copy if you are living in Delhi. Usually you can avail it from Lukmaan IAS or any bookstore also. ठीक है, so you can subscribe to this particular let's say magazine, and it is going to be very helpful for prelims examination. After reading the current affairs of the complete month from any, let's say, standard monthly current affairs booklet, you can solve these 200 MCQs and try to evaluate your understanding and knowledge. Now, yes, small announcement regarding Panchasutra All India Prelims mock test, which is, let's say, going to be held at Lukmaan IAS. Already the first test has been conducted on 20th of April. The next will be on this Saturday, 4th of May. Okay, if you are not registered yet, do register now. It is completely free of cost, but it is going to be very helpful for your prelims preparation. The prelims is on 16th of June, and these are the 5 AI PMTs. You can mark the dates, remember the dates also, and plan your revision modules. ठीक है, Panchasutra All India Prelims mock test. Okay. Daily we are also discussing one quotation which is helping us to prepare for our mains examination papers like essay paper, ethics paper. It is also helping us to build our personality for personality test, which is the third stage of this examination. Now today's quote is by Denzel Washington. You may have seen many movies, Hollywood movies of this Hollywood star. So yes, very good actor. You pray for rain, you got to deal with the mud too. That's the part of it. Okay, if you pray for rain and if you have rain, then you have to deal with the mud also. So that means what he is trying to say from this quotation is that if you pray for good things, there are supposed to be bad things also. We can say this is the cycle of life, or we can say these are two sides of the same coin itself. We call it as a life. ठीक है, तो लाइफ में हम देखते हैं आपके हमारे जो सर्कमस्टेंसेस है, इवेंट्स होता है, सो इट्स नॉट कांस्टेंट, राइट? इट्स नॉट ऑलवेज गुड थिंग्स हैपनिंग इन एनीवन्स लाइफ. देयर आर प्रॉब्लम्स, देयर आर, लेट्स से, सर्टेन सर्कमस्टेंसेस दैट पर्सन फील्स लो और डीमोटिवेटेड, बट एट द सेम टाइम व्हेन द पर्सन इज, लेट्स से, फेसिंग रिसीविंग सम गुड थिंग्स, लेट्स से टुमारो यू बिकम द IAS ऑफिसर. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पर क्या है, यू प्रे फॉर द रेन. लेट्स से आप you are praying to become the IAS officer, IPS officer, and you become the IAS officer. So you got to deal with the mud too. अब ये mud क्या है? Basically the professional hazards. The professional hazards that come with the occupation. ठीक है, like for IAS or IPS. So you may have to move from one place to other place. There may be frequent transfers. There can be political pressures. There can be imbalance in the family life, work and work life. We can say work life imbalance can be there. So there can be many, let's say, such kind of professional hazards, and these are different for different, we can say, professions. ठीक है, तो ये वाली चीज आती है उसमें. ठीक है, if you pray for anything, there will be some kind of, let's say, problems associated with, or the consequences which can be negative consequences for you in future. तो इस तरीके से आपको चीज़ें समझनी है, and we have to be, mature enough to accept all these things in our life. This is how the person moves towards maturity, या फिर जो wisdom वाली चीज़ बात करता है कि कोई भी चीज़ जो है ब्लैक एंड वाइट में नहीं होती, या हम बोल सकते हैं कि एवरीथिंग इज नॉट गोइंग टू बी द, लेट्स से, गुड थिंग्स और रोजी पिक्चर. इट्स नॉट लाइक दैट. ठीक है, यस. सो लेट्स टॉक अबाउट टुडेज, लेट्स से, 20 क्वेश्चंस. फर्स्ट वी विल डिस्कस the 29th April 2024 10 topics, and then on 30th of April 10 topics, 10 MCQs. ठीक है, so first MCQ we can say What should be answer to this one? Under how many of the above conditions can polls be declared void? Yes. So there are certain provisions in RPA 1951, Representation of People's Act 1951. Certain sections talks about declaring the polls invalid or void in certain cases. For example, booth capturing is there. So in case of booth capturing, there can be declaration of let's say elections as null and void. Intentional destruction of EVMs. Again, this can be the reason. So that is correct. Natural disasters, like there can be floods, earthquake or cyclones. In such situations also, let's say the polls can be declared null and void. And death of the candidate. Recently such instance happened actually. ठीक है, एक MP में या कहीं तो भी एक कैंडिडेट जो इलेक्शन लड़ने वाला था उसकी डेथ हुई, तो वहाँ पर जो है उस डेट पे जो इलेक्शन वाला होने वाला था, तो इलेक्शन कमीशन हैड डिक्लेयर्ड द इलेक्शन let's say postpone that election to the next phase actually. ठीक है, वहाँ पर उस दिन पे नहीं तो अगले फेज में होने वाला इलेक्शन, ऐसे हम बोल सकते हैं. तो दिस कैन बी ऑल्सो वन ऑफ द रीजन, एंड ऑल ऑफ दिस, ऑल फोर कैन बी द रीजन वी कैन से फॉर डिक्लेयरिंग द पर्टिकुलर इलेक्शन एज नल एंड वॉइड. ठीक है, ओके. नाउ नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन अबाउट द पर्सनैलिटी. So which of the following personalities being mentioned in the above paragraph? He is remembered for giving Indians their Western, classical and representations of Hindu gods and goddesses. He is regarded as the most important representative of Europeanized school of paintings in India. So, in 1904, British colonial government awarded him with Kaisar Hind Gold Medal. So, who was that personality? It was in news. He was in news recently. Raja Ravi Verma. ठीक है. सो आर्ट एंड कल्चर मॉडर्न इंडिया, इफ यू टॉक अबाउट, इट कैन बी आस्क्ड इन मेंस एग्जामिनेशन ऑल्सो. मॉडर्न इंडिया से, आर्ट एंड कल्चर से रिलेटेड, पेंटिंग से रिलेटेड, ही वॉज द नोटेड पर्सनैलिटी राजा रवि वर्मा. बॉर्न इन ट्रावनकोर, केरला, in we can say aristocratic family, and thereafter he, in the early age itself, he started developing interest in the painting. So later he set up the printing press in Mumbai and Lonavala. Okay, so फेमस पेंटिंग्स है उनके. पेंटिंग्स के नाम याद नहीं रखने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, बट जो न्यूज़ में थी पेंटिंग जो अभी है वो याद रख सकता है. जो ये है इंदु लेखा, ये पेंटिंग जो है बहुत सालों के बाद जो है अभी बाहर आई हुई है, हम बोल सकते हैं. नाउ बैम्बी बकेट, क्या होता है ये बैम्बी बकेट? वी हैव टू आइडेंटिफाई द करेक्ट स्टेटमेंट्स अबाउट दैम. Yes, online students, if you are online, yes, you can interact, you can give your answers in the comment box. Okay, so talking about the Bambi bucket, so basically it is a kind of fighting technique that has been developed, and it was recently in news because US government had, let's say, used this Bambi bucket in one of the trial run, we can say. It is specialized aerial firefighting tool which has been used since 1980s. ठीक है. So basically the helicopter or airplane can have this Bambi bucket, and from that the water can be sprayed on wherever there is fire instance. So it is essentially a lightweight collapsible container that releases water from the underneath of the helicopter to targeted areas. Both statements are correct about this. Both 1 and 2 is correct here. Alright, C is the correct answer. Bambi bucket, term based question can be asked. It looks like this, you can see here. Okay, ये हेलीकॉप्टर है, यहाँ पे बैम्बी बकेट है अटैच उसको. Now, talking about the crops, every year UPSC asks minimum one question from the crops. It can be asked from the geography, it can be asked from your economy part also, production level, exports and import. Like this question, onion is produced only during the Kharif season in India. India is currently the world's second largest onion exporter. Now, factually this one is correct. India is world's second largest onion exporter, but onion is not only produced during Kharif, all 3 seasons. It can be produced in all 3 seasons. Okay, so this one is incorrect statement, we can say. Okay, so what should be the answer here? First one is incorrect, we got the answer here. D is the correct answer about onion. Okay, so yes, moving on. Kalakkadal, earlier also we had discussed this, and this year's This time's Panchasutra test 1, we had this let's say one MCQ on this topic, Kalakkadal. What is this phenomenon? It is basically the surge wave. It is a kind of wave, but this wave is not produced by the action of wind near the coastal areas. Rather, it is produced interior of the oceans due to very low pressure systems developed there. Okay? Cyclonic disturbances or low pressure disturbances develop in the interiors of the oceans, and they basically transfer its energy to the large volume of water, and this is how the surge waves are we can say produced. And these waves are very common and frequent during the pre-monsoon time period, especially at the coast of Kerala and southern Tamil Nadu. So, this one is correct, we can say. Now, INCOIS, Indian National Center for Ocean Informatics Services under Ministry of Earth Science has developed this system to predict Kalakkadal's events. This one is also correct. So, both again C is the correct answer, both 1 and 2 statements are correct about this. Kalakkadal, okay. Kalakkadal a Malayalam term hai, 2 words Kalak and Kadal. So basically it is called as devil's wave, okay, devil wave or death wave. Okay. Now National Human Rights Commission, yes, it is in news because the Global Alliance of National Human Rights let's say institutions is going to review India's let's say status of NHRC and its accreditation, we can say. So that's why it is in news. We had discussed and talked about NHRC and its composition and all these things. Yes, NHRC, National Human Rights Commission, it is a statutory body, right? It is a statutory body set up under the Human Rights Commission Act of 1993. Okay. Paris Principles and all these things we discussed day before yesterday. It has power to intervene in any proceedings involving any allegation of violation of human rights pending before a court. Now this is very we can say serious concern. No, कि कोई भी कोर्ट के मतलब वहाँ पर वो इंटरवीन कर सकता है. The such powers are not given. Rather, with prior approval of that court, the NHRC can intervene. ठीक है, prior approval is required of that court. Although NHRC has certain kinds of suo motu powers, suo motu it takes into consideration some human rights violation in a suo motu manner, but such kind of powers are not there. Prior approval of court, concerned court is required. So this is incorrect. We have to identify a number of correct statements here. It can review the safeguards provided under constitution or any law for protection of human rights and recommend measures. This is correct regarding powers. When investigating complaints, it has same powers as civil court. That is true. It has authority to visit any jail or any other institutions under the control of state government where it believes human rights violations have been done. So this is correct about the powers and functions. So 3 statements are correct. Answer would be C here about NHRC. Basics of NHRC, please revise from this explanation PDF which is available at the description of this video. Every day we are attaching description, in the description the detailed explanation PDF, and you can download and read it later. Also you can revise from M. Laxmikant, basics immediately you should revise. About this Army Tactical Missile System, recently seen in news, is developed by which of the following country? Recently, USA has basically, USA is going to give these we can say Army Tactical Missile Systems to Ukraine to fight against Russia. ठीक है, तो ये किसका है? ये यूएस का है, यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स ऑफ अमेरिका. ओके, नाउ yes, this Shergar Wildlife Sanctuary was in news because the eco-sensitive zone was recently notified around this wildlife sanctuary, which is not in Madhya Pradesh. It is located in Rajasthan. It is located in Rajasthan. So we can say it is incorrectly matched. Kalesar Wildlife Sanctuary, it is not in Uttarakhand, it is located in Haryana. Kalesar जो है हरियाणा में है. Now this Eturnaгаram Wildlife Sanctuary, yes, it is located in Telangana. This one is correctly matched. So how many pairs are correctly matched? Only one pair is correctly matched. ठीक है? So that is, we can say A is the correct answer. Now various, we can say, you can see here the regions which are in news and match the following. There was one question specifically related to refugee camp also. ठीक है, तो in past they are asking such kind of world mapping places in news. Al-Hol refugee camp. It is the refugee camp established in Syria, not in Egypt. सीरिया कॉन्फ्लिक्ट जोन है, वहां पर जो रिफ्यूजी कैंप है अल होल रिफ्यूजी कैंप है. दिस वन इज इनकरेक्टली मैच. नाकुरू काउंटी बाय फ्लड्स रिसेंटली इन चाइना. नो, नाकुरू काउंटी इज लोकेटेड इन केनिया वेयर रिसेंटली देयर वर फ्लड्स. ठीक है, ड्यू टू डैम ब्रिज, excess rainfall, dam bridge. It is basically part of we can say Rift, East African Rift Valley region, Nakuru County. ठीक है, this is incorrectly matched. Now Krasnodar region, base of Ukrainian oil refinery attacked by Russia. Rather it is reverse. It is located in Russia and Ukraine actually attacked this oil refinery in Russia at Krasnodar. So this one is also incorrectly matched. We can say that. So all three pairs are incorrectly matched. So answer would be none. D is the correct answer, right? Yes. Now moving on. You can see the locations also we have provided to all these mapping points. H5N1 virus was recently in news. What is it? It is avian influenza. This virus can cause avian influenza, also called as bird flu. And that's why in Kerala, several, let's say, birds were culled at different locations. So it is associated with swine flu. This is incorrect. It is associated with bird flu or avian influenza. It can infect domestic poultry and can pass from person to person. This one is correct because recently the case of transfer from person to person transmission of this virus was observed. That can be, we can say, very threatening. Why? Because this is carries high mortality in humans. This one is correct, we can say. More than 50% mortality rate hai isme. Okay, so how many statements are correct? B, only 2. Alright. Now moving on. Yes, now the next 10 MCQs of the next day. So first MCQ there. Goldman Environmental Prize for 2024 was given to, we can say, founding member of Hasdev Aranya Bachao Sangharsh Samiti in Chhattisgarh. But who gave this? Amsterdam-based Greenpeace. Now this is incorrect. Okay, it is not given by Greenpeace. Rather, the Goldman Environmental Foundation, that is non-profit organization, that provides this prize. So this one is incorrect. Now Hasdev Aranya Bachao Sangharsh Samiti was selected for recognition of its community-led grassroots movement that saved large swaths of forest land in Hasdev, Chhattisgarh. Hasdev river bhi hai, theek hai, tributary of Mahanadi river. So this statement is correct. So answer would be this one. Okay, D is the correct answer, right? Now moving on. Yes, so Alok Shukla, who is the founder of this movement or campaign, was given this Goldman Environmental. It is also called as Green Nobel. ठीक है, Green Nobel. Right. Now, regarding forest fires in India, according to Forest Survey of India, more than 50% of India's forests are prone. This fact is incorrect. Not more than 50%. It is nearly 37%. It is nearly 37%. Of India's total forests are prone to forest fires. Forest fires are considered major source of carbon dioxide, VOCs. This is correct, we can say, by and large. Carbon monoxide is also there. Higher fire incidents are reported in the summer season due to ample availability of dry biomass following the end of winter. This is correct, we can say. During summer, generally there is shedding of all the, let's say, tree leaves is there, all that biomass is accumulated near the ground, and there is more, let's say, probability of forest fire because of higher temperatures also during summer. ठीक है, तो दो स्टेटमेंट सही है इसमें भी. आंसर वुड बी बी. फाइन. नाउ what about this one? Green taxonomy. The term was in news recently. India has adopted this framework to assess the sustainability credentials and possible ranking of economic activities in the country, so that there can be more and more foreign investment into those economic activities. ठीक है, तो इसको ग्रीन टैक्सोनॉमी फ्रेमवर्क बोला गया है. सो ए इज द करेक्ट आंसर अबाउट दिस ग्रीन टैक्सोनॉमी. फाइन. नेक्स्ट इज लिथियम आयन एंड सोडियम आयन बैटरीज, उसमें कंपैरिजन करके पूछा हुआ है. वी हैव टू आइडेंटिफाई द करेक्ट स्टेटमेंट. Lithium ion batteries have higher energy density than the sodium ion battery. This one is, we can say, correct statement. Sodium ion batteries can operate at higher temperature range than the lithium ion batteries. This is also, we can say, correct statement. Lithium ion batteries are potentially cheaper than sodium. Now this is not correct. Rather, sodium ion batteries can be cheaper as compared to lithium ion. Lithium ion batteries are rather, we can say, costly. That's why electronic goods, they are costlier. Lithium and other critical minerals that are required, rare earth minerals that are required for manufacturing of these batteries is problematic. So this is incorrect. First two statements are correct. Answer would be again B. ठीक है. Now what about this report? Yes, see, we are trying to cover as many as these reports, because every year UPSC asks one question from any kind of report, which particular organization releases that report. So yes, this particular report, standards for net zero iron and steel sector in India. ठीक है, तो अब हमें लग सकता है कि इंडिया का है तो इंडिया का कोई होगा इंस्टीट्यूशन, नीति आयोग है यहाँ पर लिखा हुआ. ठीक है, सो वन कैन थिंक लाइक दिस, बट this report has been given by International Energy Agency. B is the correct answer. ठीक है, International Energy Agency. Now, yes, this was making a lot of, we can say, news recently. Covishield or AstraZeneca, this vaccine, right? So AstraZeneca Covid19 vaccine, Covishield is viral vector vaccine developed by Oxford University and AstraZeneca. This is correct. We have learned about this in last 3-4 years. हम वही पढ़ रहे हैं. कोविड का वायरस से रिलेटेड ऑलरेडी यूपीएससी हैज आस्क्ड वन क्वेश्चन रिगार्डिंग द काइंड ऑफ वैक्सीन्स दैट आर डेवलप्ड इन द कंट्री फॉर कोविड. थ्रोम्बोसिस विथ थ्रोम्बोसाइटोपेनिया सिंड्रोम is a rare condition caused by Covishield, characterized by the formation of blood clots combined with low platelet count. This is a kind of, we can say, rare condition, and recently it was making a news, lot of news. Why? Because people are concerned. But this particular, let's say, rare symptom or rare cases were already known. This is how doctors and the regulators, the health regulators, they are of view. ठीक है, तो रेयर कंडीशन होता है कि जहाँ पर there can be blood clotting, formation of blood clots. So this is correct, we can say, thrombosis. So both statements are correct. C is the correct answer. Right. Moving on. Now what about this one? How many of the above countries are part of Chip for Alliance or FAB4? In 2022 USA had proposed this, let's say, alliance, Chip for Alliance. तो उसमें कौन से countries है? USA is there, and other 3 major manufacturers of chips, electronic chips, we can say, which are these? Taiwan, Japan and South Korea. So how many of them are mentioned here? South Korea is there, Japan is there. So only 2. Remaining 2 are US and Taiwan. ठीक है? Okay. Now what about this social cost of carbon? Already UPSC has asked, I guess, a social cost of carbon concept based question. So we have to identify the correct statement. It determines the consumer demand for energy efficient products. No, it is not determining this demand for energy efficient products. Rather, social cost, it is talking about the cost of using the carbon intensive products. ठीक है, तो social cost मतलब social एंगल से, या इकोनॉमिक कॉस्ट, सोशल कॉस्ट, उस एंगल से हम बोल सकते हैं. दिस इज इनकरेक्ट. इट इंक्लूड्स फ्यूचर डैमेजेस कॉज्ड बाय क्लाइमेट चेंज फ्रॉम द करंट कार्बन इमिशन. दिस इज करेक्ट, वी कैन से. नाउ इट असिस्ट इन इवैल्यूएटिंग द इकोनॉमिक इंपैक्ट्स ऑफ क्लाइमेट पॉलिसीज. दिस इज ऑल्सो ट्रू. सो बोथ स्टेटमेंट्स आर करेक्ट. वन इज इनकरेक्ट, सो बी इज द करेक्ट आंसर अगेन हियर. सोशल कॉस्ट ऑफ कार्बन. राइट. नाउ मूविंग ऑन. हाउ मेनी ऑफ द अबव फंक्शंस ऑफ FSSI are the functions of FSSI? This body set up as a statutory body under Food Safety and Standards Act of Parliament of India. ठीक है, so FSSI statutory body है. Functions: scientific research and development, common aspect is there. Enforcing food safety laws, of course उसी का काम है. Granting licenses to food business, this is also true. Consumer complaints and redressals, regulating the use of food additives. इससे रिलेटेड अभी न्यूज़ में था, देखो कुछ फूड एडिटिव्स जो है जैसे जो आर्टिफिशियल स्वीटनर्स होता है, ठीक है, तो आर्टिफिशियल स्वीटनर्स का अभी न्यूज़ में था, या आर्टिफिशियल कलरिंग एजेंट्स होता है तो वो भी अभी न्यूज़ में था, दे वर बैंड, ठीक है. सो यस, ऑल 5 वी कैन से आर द फंक्शंस ऑफ और रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज ऑफ FSSI. Right. Now, regarding sources of methane, last question for today. There was very good article today's newspaper, The Hindu, talking about the sources of methane. And what it talks is there are 2 sources of methane. Methane, we know that it is the potent greenhouse gas, and it is having more global warming potential as compared to carbon dioxide. ठीक है, तो yes. Nowadays internationally the methane emissions, curbing methane emissions has got a lot of attention. Last year there was methane, global methane pledge was also announced in the COP. Extraction of natural gas and crude oil releases thermogenic methane. There are 2 types of sources of methane, and one can be categorized as thermogenic methane and other is biogenic. Thermogenic means basically the methane that is released from the earth crust whenever we try to extract the fossil fuels from the earth's crust, like we have natural gas or crude oil or even coal. So when that methane is released, it is called as thermogenic methane. The other source is microbial action by methanogens. Basically they are archaea bacteria. ठीक है, archaea bacteria, they are, we can say, ancient bacteria, and these bacteria are single celled microorganisms. ये basic NCERT 12th standard biology उसमें दिया हुआ है, methanogens, archaea bacteria, and they are they can survive in oxygen deficient environment. They can survive in oxygen deficient environment. So we can call them as methanogens, microbial action. This is correct. Now, the amount of biogenic methane released is much more as compared to thermogenic methane. Now, this is a tricky one, and the recent study had said that the biogenic methane is being released more as compared to thermogenic in recent times. ठीक है, so this one is correct, we can say. हमें ऐसा लग सकता है कि हम fossil fuel ज़्यादा यूज़ करते तो वहाँ से ज़्यादा रिलीज होता होगा, but that is incorrect understanding. That this is how the current affairs comes into the picture. All 3 statements are correct regarding methane. So in general, biogenic methane ये जो होता है, where these microbes are living, these microbes can be found in the landfills, or we can say that in the we can say mouths of or digestive systems of cattle, livestock. This is how livestock is major, we can say, source of methane. Then paddy fields, rice paddy fields. Okay, so these are some, we can say, areas from where the methane is largely released. There can be let's say similar way the methanogens are present at the bottom of lake as well as ocean. वहाँ पे भी ये methane release करते हैं, biogenic methane. Alright, so these are the 20 questions from today. Any question related to them? Again, let me repeat the announcement. Panchasutra test 2 will be on 4th May 2024. This is free all India prelims mock test, and now more than let's say 1000 students already gave this PS1, Panchasutra 1 on 20th of April. More and more students are registering. More than 6000 registrations have been completed for PS2, Panchasutra test 2. So you can register now itself, because this is competitive exam. If your competitors are giving this exam, then you should also solve this test and get your rank and get your, let's say, knowledge evaluated. This is how the let's say we understand our preparation, test our preparation. Okay? So 4th May, remember the date, register now itself. Fine, okay, let us stop there.